Good evening, folks. This is Deb and Dave, and this is your Factivist Report for Monday, the 22nd of January. And, tonight we're going to talk about, we have been talking about pretty frequently how the Republicans have no desire or ability to govern. They're not even capable of actually running a decent campaign. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Dave.
I'm going to say this: the Republicans have no use for meaningful legislation that helps protect the American people from unsafe products or environmental pollution or whatever else you can come up with. But what they do want to govern is how you live your life, because that's what they do, and that's what they want to do. They want to regulate what you read and what you do with your body and your orientation. They want to eliminate much of the LGBT community. They want to attack transgenders, all of that. They want to erase history. They want to erase voting rights and all of that. But I'm not really going to talk much about that, other than the piece about accountability. Okay. Republicans don't want accountability. They won't want accountability for any corporations that they might be part of, whether it be hiring practices or polluting the water or whatever it is.
They don't want any accountability for themselves in oversight committees, but they have no problem demanding accountability from Democrats.
Correct.
Let's be honest here. They do some oversight, but we can never talk about anything that they might be needing oversight on, which is obviously with a leading candidate with 91 criminal indictments, they clearly have a problem.
So there's going to be kind of a running theme here. It's going to be kind of all over the place in terms of there's going to be a House race here or an AG candidate here or whatever. But the running theme is you will see Democrats governing, and if a Republican does tend to slip in there and govern, it's with a co-sponsored bill with a Democrat, and and the Republicans are just ripping away accountability pieces and protections, which will lead into our next week's show, which is a Supreme Court case looking at the Chevron deference, which I'll describe it later. It's basically allowing company or agencies to interpret vague rulings instead of giving that power to the courts in the Supreme Court. Okay, we'll get there. First off, if you don't know yet, Trump's the nominee. Okay, I don't get. Well, Nikki Haley's running. Nikki Haley isn't going to win. Okay, Trump has been ordained. Trump is the chosen one. And even if you ran against him, as long as you kiss his ring at the end, he doesn't care. He got rid of the sanctimonious name. He was talking shit about Vivek, but now he's cool with Vivek because Vivek is bowing down to him. So we're going to see.
And I will tell you that Ron DeSantis pulled out of the race, and in the same fucking breath, he endorsed Trump. Okay. And so will Nikki Haley. All right. Yep. So will Nikki Haley.
Yep.
This is all, for show. The Republican Party as a whole handed themselves over to Donald Trump.
So Nikki Haley is still technically in the primary running against Donald Trump. She insisted that if she was going to be part of another debate, that Donald Trump had to be in the room. The networks pulled all future debates uh, and alleged that Nikki Haley bailed out of all the debates. Who's she going to debate? Nobody else is left.
Well, here's another point. First of all, we have a totally dysfunctional party here. We have a party of people debating, and the front runner is not even taking part in the debates. So we could all argue that, well, he's going to win it anyway. But you know what? That isn't the point. The point of having people running for office is to talk about policy. But you see, the whole reason Donald Trump didn't want to get involved in the debates is he doesn't want to talk about policy. He wants to spend his time going around the country collecting money, grousing about how he's been treated unfairly, and about how the government's been bullying him all along. He's not interested in policy. He's not interested in legislation that benefits the American people. He's interested in Donald J. Trump. That's
Right.
that's the sum ability of his fucking addled brain, that he cannot take the fucking spotlight off himself and put it on the American people where it belongs. So, all of this being said, Donald Trump owed his supporters to take part in these debates.
All right. I got an alfalfa thing going on here. It's
Yeah,
driving me
whatever.
crazy.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I know. But because I took care of this, I now should be Time Man of the Year. That's what he cares about, by the way. He's going off on Taylor Swift because she got Person of the Year from Time Magazine. It should be him. That's the stuff he's worried about. Okay.
It should be him. He should be Time Man. He should be Times Person of the Year for, being a convicted rapist. Just about gonna destroy his business in New York because he's a cheat, and for having 91 criminal indictments against him. That's why he should be Man of the Year. If that's Man of the Year, we have sunk, folks.
And he promoted bleach and horse dewormer for a disease that he claimed wasn't even a big deal. Okay. And he perpetuated so much garbage, and he spurred on violence at the end of his term when he lost.
He's still spurring it on.
He's still doing it. Okay. And make no mistake, again, I put this up last week. The GOP party platform, they're endorsing Trump before the primaries are even over. Trump is the nominee. And by the way, I don't care. I don't care about the stuff on his hands. Isn't what he did enough? All of the indictments, all of the nonsense with the documents, with secret documents. It's not like even misplacing one. It's like taking entire boxes out of the White House and putting them in Mar-a-Lago,
In a
and
John.
potentially
In a shitter.
and potentially selling them. Who knows? So just understand, Donald Trump is ahead of the snake. We cannot allow him to win the election. But with him and the amount of criminal indictments again, and by the way, he's a criminal. He's a convicted rapist at this point. So he is endorsing other candidates. What do you think is going to happen? A lot of these guys themselves have spotty pasts. So,
I mean, come on. Let's look just for a minute. Let me just run down some names for you.
yep,
Okay.
yep,
Michael Flynn, Steve Bannon, I mean,
Roger Stone,
Roger Stone.
Herschel Walker.
I mean, come on, folks. Seriously. He pardoned Roger Stone. Okay.
Right.
Roger Stone, who now it has been revealed, there is audio that is legitimate audio. It has been determined now that he talked about assassinating Eric Swalwell and Gerald Nadler on Trump's behalf. So stop it, folks. Really.
Okay, that's better. So we're gonna talk about the California race later. That's in May. That's the race to replace uh I even forgot his name at this point.
McCarthy.
McCarthy. Because honestly, he's useless. What better way to cap this off than to take his seat over? That would be
Right.
great. It's kind of a ranked choice voting kind of thing. I believe there's two Democrats running in there. Let's see if they can run against each other. I mean, it's a pretty strong Republican district, but we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
talk about that
so
one later.
it's what is called an open primary.
Right,
So the top two vote getters will face
right,
off each other. And it doesn't matter if it's two Democrats or two Republicans or a Democrat versus a Republican. That's
right.
just the way they do this. So, you know what, Democrats? Get out there and vote. Okay.
Get one of our guys in the race at least.
We need the House back. What better way to start than start on a special election so you can go into November as an incumbent? That is what we want to do.
So I am going to beat this election into your head. The New York third. We did not do enough due diligence on the New York third, and George Santos got in. Okay, I'll be damned if if I'm going to say this next election, well, maybe we should have talked about this election more. Monty Phillip, we had to do a deep dive to even see if there was a D by her name because she was a Democrat, but she isn't a Democrat. She she does not believe in a woman's right to choose. That's honestly that's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know, ladies in the New York District 3. That's all you need to know. She's a Republican, she's a female, and she is not support your right to choose. Okay?
Do
I'm sorry.
not
That's a deal breaker, folks. I don't want to hear one complaint from anybody in New York in that district on social media if they don't vote. All right. There is absolutely, by the way, she also campaigned for George Santos. I don't have to say anything more here. She
right.
is a MAGA Republican.
She's a good friend of George Santos. Now, she I don't I don't really even care about her background. The fact that she campaigned for Santos is enough for me,
Right.
and also that she's anti-choice. She's an ex-Israel Defense Force soldier. She was in the New York General Assembly. Now, Tom Suozzi is a presumptive winner here. Don't presume a damn thing. Because even though this is
Not after your performance in 2022, and I'm talking to the New York voters, okay?
and stop with the purity testing, please, because you're going to get somebody like this. Okay.
If you think she's a step above George Santos, you're not paying attention.
Now, I typically wouldn't use this source. It's the Daily Caller. It's friggin' Tucker Carlson's rag. But there's one point to be made here. She can win. She can win. They
Don't
are
ever think they can't. As we've
they are
said to you
dumping
before,
so much money into this campaign,
as
into
we've
these
said to
negative
you before,
ads.
you voted 55%, the Republicans can win. You voted 60%, you win in a landslide. You voted 70%, you put them out of business. We are at 70% range here, folks. If we don't put the GOP out of business in 2024, there is no 2028. I don't care what planet you're living on. They are not leaving office this time.
So this is just hinting at what they're doing. A race to replace Santos, financial questions reemerge. It's not to Santos levels, but Matsi Phillip, the Republican candidate running in the New York third district, drew scrutiny after initial financial disclosure was missing required information. Just saying.
Surprise.
Now, GOP faces sudden flood of retirements after holiday break. This is at the end of 2024. These guys are leaving. I had an idea of this show from this article, just to look at each state and see where we're at and what candidates emerge, what offices emerge, what the state of each one of these states is. And we're going to be talking about either next week or the week after the Senate races, at least two guys that came up, Sherrod Brown and Josh Hawley. Okay, those are gonna be two guys we're gonna be talking about soon. So here's a list of guys.
Hold on, there are other guys we do need to talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
In the
Well, I
Senate.
was just talking about these particular states.
Because I don't know who's running.
Rick Scott, we have Rick Scott, but Ted Cruz, yeah. But then these particular states are considered, at least these districts are considered Republican strongholds. So I was like, okay, let me take a look at it and let me see where we are in these states. Okay, so we have Indiana. Larry Bouchon is retiring. It became clear to me over the Christmas holiday the time has come to bring my season in public service to a conclusion. Blaine Luckenmeyer, Republican from Missouri. Doug Lamborn, Colorado. John Curtis, Utah. And Bill Johnson from Ohio. So I'm going to take just a quick look at each one of these states.
Curtis is jumping into Romney's seat.
Yeah.
He's going to run for Romney's seat.
Right. He's switching, but there's something I want to mention about Utah, and I think I mentioned it. So let's first talk about Indiana. Now, again, it's not necessarily about every single one of these races and political offices. They're connected in different ways. She ran for Secretary of State. This person, Destiny Wells, in Indiana. She's currently the Secretary of State. She will be running for Attorney General. And the person who ran against her for Secretary of State, the man's name was Diego Morales. He maintained a primary residence in Marion County while twice voting in Hendricks County. And he was part of the Stop the Steal rallies and all that stuff. So he was talking about election integrity and voted more than once.
Now, what's he running for?
He was the one that lost against Destiny Wells. That's the Secretary of State.
He's not running again now, is he?
No, he's not.
Good.
But this is a running theme.
It is.
These guys they do what they want.
They feel.
Yeah. was just talking about in Missouri how the unions may play a role because the Republicans are anti-union. Bottom line, uh, this state actually turned over the right to work laws, which means you don't have to be in a union to be represented, blah, blah, blah. But the point being that Missouri doesn't care about Missouri GOP politicians. They don't care about labor law and making sure things are safe and done properly. And as I said, we'll be talking about Josh Hawley soon, probably next week. Come on. So while my
Guitar
computer
gently.
is having a meltdown, one of the one of the big themes here too is in order to hold these guys accountable, we have to first hold the line and hold every seat that we possibly can and retain who we can, knowing full well we're going to lose a seat or two. I know that that's just a part of it, but we have to get more seats in the Senate.
We have to
We
get more
have
seats. We look.
everywhere. I get that,
I don't. I,
but
I don't want to. I don't want to downplay this in any fashion. We have to have incredible voter turnout, and we can't lose anything from where we are now. We
no.
can't. If we lose seats in the House, we don't get the House back. If we lose seats in the Senate, we lose the Senate.
Well, we're not going to win.
Why they have a
Oh,
razor thin advantage in the House. We have a razor thin advantage in the Senate. We are nowhere near 60 senators. We couldn't even overcome the filibuster right now.
right.
We'll use the filibuster. So let me
Our
explain something to you. This is no time to fuck around.
no.
Okay. We can't lose seats. We need to win.
Hold on. Our goal is to win 100% of the races. Yes, I agree with that. We're not going to win every single race. That's my point. I'm not saying we're going to lose momentum. There's no way we cannot lose momentum. We have to win. We have to win the POTUS. We have to gain
In the
uh,
Senate.
control in the House and a a decent majority in the House. Back to like 10 seats, we have to roll over them. We have to.
Absolutely. And look, I'm tired of
Look at
hearing
what's going on.
we only need 5 seats in the House. No,
No.
that's bullshit. We need to not aim low. The idea is you aim high. Okay, you don't aim low. All we need is 5 seats. That's all we need. That's
No.
bullshit.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, that's not what you're saying, but that's what I read everywhere.
Right.
Don't just stop looking at the media. That's
No,
not what we need. We need dominance. It's
we
the
can't.
only way.
I don't know how many seats we're going to gain in the Senate. I don't think we're, and I know where we're going to go with this. Okay. As soon as we get done with we have a majority in the Senate and the House. Let's uh, let's fix the Supreme Court. If we have 60 freaking Senate seats, okay, but we're not. I don't see that. That's our goal, of course.
That's right. So I don't understand you people that just thinking that we're just going to fix the Supreme Court. You need 60 seats in the Senate to make any substantive change to the Supreme Court. If you want to expand the court, you need 60 senators, which means if you don't have 60 senators, you are going to require GOP senators to cross the aisle to support that. That isn't going to happen. Let's assume that because they don't work in a bipartisan fashion even now.
Right.
Okay.
Now, here is one Senate seat that we have to win. We have to win all of them if we can. The one that we're going to lose is Mansion because I don't even know. I don't think he's even running. But
Now, Manchin's out there blowing smoke up everybody's ass about a third
the
party.
No Labels Party,
He's a
yeah,
waste of space.
yeah. So we have to win one of the Senate seats back at the minimum, but more, as many as we possibly can. We have to flip them and retain the ones that we have, including John Tester and including the man in Ohio, Sherrod Brown. And this is the man who's running against him, Bernie Moreno, who was just endorsed by Trump. All right. So here's what Sherrod Brown's been doing.
And
And
anytime, by the way, you get a Trump endorsement, that should be seen as radioactive. Okay? The man is garbage.
so here's just a little bit what Sherrod Brown's been doing. And remember the the potential rail strike and the rail disaster. He brokered a lot of stuff with that. But Sherrod Brown touts bipartisan deal to boost child tax credit, R&D, and housing. So this is some of the stuff that he's been doing.
And
What has Bernie Moreno?
this is the difference between governance and following Donald Trump's orders. That's all the GOP is doing.
Bernie Moreno, what has he done? First, listen, I am not. I think it's a joke, but I'm not disparaging anybody who owns a business. Guy's a car dealer. Okay, I'm just saying. The man is facing discrimination charges.
Perfect. He's a perfect Trump nominee.
But that's what I'm saying.
He's exactly what Donald Trump would put up for you.
Okay, hold on. Are you going to be nice? There we go.
No. Are you
Face
using Microsoft Edge?
No, I'm using Chrome.
Oh, all right.
I have to use Edge. Edge forces me to use it to put my Zoom up. It won't go through Chrome. I don't know why. But just know that he's facing these charges.
I can tell you why it won't. You may not have Chrome set as your default browser. Zoom will go to whatever your default browser is.
Okay. So let's go to Utah,
Let's
which
not.
is, well, just saying. I was like, okay, what's going on in Utah? I figure we're not going to get any seats here, but Utah Attorney General, he's a Republican, Sean Reyes, won't run for re-election, and he orders a criminal probe into Ballard and this organization, Operation Underground Railroad, um, supposedly fighting child trafficking. Tim Ballard is being investigated for sexual misconduct and sexual abuse against females. And
Every
and
fucking thing, every single time there's a crusader against trafficking, they're always criminals. You ever notice that when it's on the other
yeah,
side? Every
yeah.
single time they're either sexual harassers, sexual abusers, or they like child pornography. Every
But
single one of them.
Deb,
Fucking unbelievable.
gotta gotta defend him. At least he wasn't assaulting children. He was assaulting adult women. Seriously,
Yeah.
God.
I got an idea. Why don't we just get them some cassocks and a priest thing, and we could have them join the Catholic Church? I don't know.
And the attorney general was has been charged with intimidation of people who were criticizing this guy.
Excellent.
So the attorney general is resigning and saying, I give you permission to investigate him. Oh, wow. How white of you.
Yeah, really.
Just
Seriously.
saying. So I'm hearing a lot of people complain about John Fetterman. Oh, he's turning Republican. Oh, he's not a progressive. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I will defend John Fetterman unless he uh, commits a deal breaker, and I haven't seen it yet. Okay. He may not be your left leaning Democrat, but he is doing good work in terms of regulation and calling people out, like calling Menendez out and endorsing Andy Kim. You know, in order to call out the Republicans, you have to be able to call out your own party when in the rare events of, it's rare compared to the Republican Party, but in the event that it happens in the Democratic Party, you have to be able to criticize those who are doing wrong and hold them accountable. You gotta. Okay.
But let me also just say something about his commentary on the border.
Yep.
First of all, what is he essentially saying? He's essentially saying he doesn't support open borders. I don't
Right.
support open borders.
Right.
We don't have open borders now. What we
Right.
have is a broken system, but we don't have open borders. We have a broken system because the Republicans are hell-bent on not coming to the table because, as they said out of their own mouths, they don't want to help Joe Biden get reelected. So basically, screw you people. We're not going to do any work until Donald Trump's reelected because now the great new Speaker of the House says we can't address the immigration situation until Trump is reelected.
Right.
Are you serious, folks?
And by the way,
Joe Biden brought them a plan right after he was elected, and it has been bouncing around because the Republicans never had any intention of doing anything about this.
the GOP pounds the table about how they need to indict and impeach Biden on the way that he mismanages the border. However, they will not allow more border patrol to be hired. They won't.
It
They
wasn't
won't
just border
work.
patrol. It
Right.
was people to help process backlogs of paperwork. It was streamlining the process. Okay, but now, just so you know, they've put Joe Biden's impeachment on a back burner because now they're going to go after Mayorkas.
Right.
So just so you know, that Mayorkas is now the priority in the impeachment games. That's what we should
And
call the GOP, the impeachment games.
Mayorkas has not been criminally negligent.
He hasn't done a
In
thing to be
no, and
impeached.
I have to mention Abbott and his garbage, allowing migrants who tried to cross the border to drown and not saving them.
And not allowing the feds to save him. Because, by the way, one thing we should mention here, as long as we're talking about the border,
Yeah.
is now the Republicans have set up, the Republicans, let me just say this, Governor Abbott and the state of Texas has set up a showdown between the Texas National Guard and the police, the federal border patrol. We really are they have guns and they're at a standstill. Okay. And the Biden administration has asked the Supreme Court to step in. I do not know where that is right now. I haven't heard anything, but this is what the GOP is. They're chaos agents. That's
Right.
all they really are.
Yep.
They are not serious legislators. They are chaos agents for a fascist fucking dictator. Okay? That's what the GOP is.
I'm just going to read a couple of paragraphs of this. If you guys want to read the whole thing, I think I think it's reasonable to do that. I did not see one thing in here where I was like, "Ooh, maybe I need to reevaluate." This is the statement from John Fetterman regarding immigration. I fundamentally believe immigration is what makes America America. The issue is personal to me. My wife Giselle was a dreamer who came to America when she was 7, fleeing violence in Brazil with her family. I would not have my family if it was not for immigration. It is no secret our immigration system is broken. We need a system that is strong, secure, and humane. In the Senate, I would support investments that go towards keeping our borders strong, preventing flow of illegal drugs into our country. We must work to ensure that our immigration is humane. I support common sense immigration reforms that will restore our country's legacy as a nation built by immigrants. In the Senate, I will work to modernize our visa system and asylum programs so they can't be exploited by bad actors. I will also fight for a pathway to citizenship for frontline workers, small business owners, and young people who have only known this country as their home. I I don't have a problem with any of that. Also, understand that there is regulation in that language as well, which is something that the right wing Supreme Court and the right wing GOP is trying to demolish. Couple other things I just wanted to mention about Fetterman. Yes, he is backing Andy Kim. He is calling Menendez a sleazebag.
He is,
He is
he has
calling him
been for
out.
a long time.
Okay. This is back in April. Sherrod Brown, we just mentioned him. Fetterman, Casey introduced Railway Accountability Act to expand rail safety in wake of derailment.
This is what,
Regulation.
this is what governance looks like, folks.
Yeah.
This is what governance looks like.
Now, I never thought in a million years I would actually put up something from Joni Ernst with any kind of meaningful legislation
Well, wait a minute.
that,
Let's wait a minute. Let's,
hold on. But understand Fetterman sponsored the damn bill.
I know, I just have to say one thing. When you do get it up, I have to say something.
Okay.
Put that page up. Let me just say something. Okay? There is no controversy between the Republicans and the Democrats on this subject. This is
No,
something, this is something they can come together on. I don't see Joni Ernst ever crossing the aisle to do anything but protect eggs or whatever the fuck it is. just, I just,
she sucks them every day.
I
Yeah,
know,
I
seriously.
know.
I know, I just can't.
But
I
I
do,
mean,
but look, it is important because what's in your food, it should be what, when they say what it is, it should be what it is. I'm
right. And
just saying that
this
this
is
is
what
a
it is. And
relatively non-controversial bill
this
here.
is a softball.
It is,
Okay. It is such a softball, but it's something that Fetterman and Ernst
did
put
together,
out there, did
right.
together. He did work, and this is so easy.
And by
If
the way,
Yeah,
hello,
yeah,
Democrats out there in the world, we will, once we get a functioning Republican Party, we will have to work together. Okay, that's the way
right.
it always has been. It just hasn't been that way since Donald Trump. So we've always had disagreements on policy before, but you come together and work through it. Not this particular version of the GOP.
Now I'm going to read read a couple of paragraphs on this. U.S. Senators Joni, and understand this is her page,
Right.
so of course she's going to label her name first, whatever. And Fetterman introduced the bipartisan Consistent Egg Label Act to create clear guidelines for the Food and Drug Administration. By the way, this is a regulatory agency
And we're
to
going to be
ensure,
talking about dismantling those agencies next week.
yeah, for the Food and Drug Administration to ensure any product labeled as an egg is actually derived from poultry. Okay, that's again, it's a softball. Apparently, there are, there are mislabeled products, and
Well,
they are working on labeling them
well,
properly.
because, we're into the plant-based everything.
Right.
Plant-based eggs are not eggs. Can I just say that? Okay, you can't break
Soy
them and
eggs.
put it into a fucking pan and cook them over light. Who is calling me? No, I don't want to answer you. No, sorry. You're looking for money, and I know you are. You're a political campaign. You're calling from California. I know you.
So again, I didn't put everything in here from Fetterman. Just take a look. I searched him. Pennsylvania senators introduced bill to address college campus discrimination. Fetterman seeks to protect college students attacked during the Israel-Hamas war. And agree with him or disagree with him, no student going to college should be attacked for their political beliefs.
Correct. So you know what? Leave them alone.
Fetterman introduces legislation to cancel school lunch debt.
This is, and I know he says that, honestly, he might, be downplaying his role as a progressive. He's pretty progressive. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
John Fetterman introduces food stamps bill for workers on picket line. Bipartisan bill to return benefits to SNAP recipients. Now he's working on that with Gillibrand. Okay.
in the meantime, I'd like to remind everybody that every single red state refused food stamps
Right.
for school children for the summertime when they need food the most. Understand that. Tate Reeves, who never looks like he missed a fucking lunch in his life, has turned
Right.
down food stamps for the poorest state in the union. Okay? Let me keep
And
reminding you
by the
every
way,
day just exactly what the GOP really is.
Summers and Christmas break.
Right,
What do they do during Christmas break? What do they do during Thanksgiving?
right.
I mean, come on. So here's what we're talking about for next week. So as you know, Trump uh, Trump put in three Supreme Court appointees to do things like this. There's something called the Chevron deference, which means that if there is an ambiguous law regarding fisheries, is the one that's being brought to the Supreme Court, a government agency can interpret that law instead of taking it to court because they are experts in the field that they are adjudicating over, as opposed to giving these things to a Supreme Court justice who knows everything about the law, but not everything about fisheries or pollution or whatever it is. So what the Supreme Court is looking at is whether or not to allow these laws to go through. This is 70 federal laws and over 1,000. I don't remember the number. Over the years, this is since 1984. If they overturn this ruling from the 80s, it could mean the end of regulation as we know it. Massive deregulation.
This is not a good thing, folks. You know, uh, as I mentioned to you this afternoon, as trite and trivial in a video that I made this afternoon, which I actually haven't posted yet, but I will post that before I post this. Um, it may seem trivial to you, but under this, we all know that Google collects information on us, all of us. One of the things they collect information on is women looking for an abortion online. If this doctrine is overturned, the FTC will be powerless to block those from being accessed. Okay, I don't understand what people don't understand about this, but I will tell you this. The hard right GOP put this decision right behind Roe v. Wade in importance. And the right-wing Supreme Court has already signaled that they're going to overturn this. All right, so
we don't know to what degree. They may incrementally do it because they do that a lot. They did it with Roe. You didn't know about.
Look, they passed Roe. We got Roe in 1973. By 1975, they had already started watering it down, and it was watered down over time till it got to where it was before it was overturned. But Roe, where it was, Roe, the original Roe, is where it should be. That's the original Roe. That should have been the precedent.
Now they're only talking about specifically two things right now. I believe it's the FCC and like environmental stuff.
But it opens the door.
It opens the door. Think of
like
how many times you are affected each day by some regulation. You go to work, I go to work, I get a lunch break. That's regulated.
Right.
Okay. Overtime is regulated. Minimum wage is regulated. OSHA is regulated.
Look, there's no way to sugarcoat any of this. They argued same-sex marriage on the same premise that they argued Roe. If you think that the GOP is not going to go after same-sex marriage, that was the first thing that Clarence Thomas said when they overturned Roe.
Right.
If you don't think they're going to do that, they're already making plans to do that. I posted it the other day, and it came from Americans United for the Separation of Church and State. They are watching this. That's their job.
And by the way, I know Clarence is married to a white woman. They're going after interracial marriage too.
They'll go after interracial marriage too, and he won't give a shit because it won't affect him.
Right.
I'm just saying, okay? People need to get it, all right? Their ultimate goal, this is small right now, but their ultimate goal is to get rid of the CDC, get us out of the World Health Organization. Their goal is to get us out of the EPA. They don't want any regulation. Regulation doesn't benefit their bankrollers. Understand what I'm saying here.
And all of you progressives out there, all of you guys that I've known since 2017 and maybe even beyond, all you guys have been talking about clean air, clean water, a reduction in weapons or weaponization, blah blah blah. Every single thing that you're talking about requires regulation. Every single thing. So, and labor rights and fair wages for women and all of it. Now, again, they're talking about deregulating companies while at the same time regulating you.
That's right.
Who you can have sex with, what you can do with your body, what you can ingest, all of it. And by the way, what you can mail, you can't mail cigarettes. Why? Because of the taxes. And by the way, that's not going away. Well, that's another thing we got to talk about because that's something that we get hit on all the time, or Democrats get hit on all the time, is taxes. And by the way, you deregulate the oil and gas industry, and then slam every single Democrat for rising gas prices.
That's right.
Okay, give me a break. again, Republicans obstruct, and then blame the other guy for not taking care of the problem when they were the ones that caused it in the first place.
Correct. Correct.
And why would you want regulation when you're going to break the regulations anyway?
So let me just remind people of something else. When Joe Biden took office his first term, he spent at least the first month overturning the mess that was left here by Donald Trump.
Right.
Let me just explain something to you. All of this mess that has been made since January of 2022, or 2023 rather, by the GOP, all of that's going to have to be undone too. So,
And by the way, this also, I'm going to do a deeper dive on it. I believe it addresses executive orders as well. Now, how many executive orders did Trump do like in his first day? I think it was 17, but every time Biden tries to do something, now maybe he does overreach sometimes, but hey, guess what? He also respects the process.
well, here's the problem. There are things that have to happen whether or not the GOP cooperates or not. And that's the president's job. So whatever, it doesn't ruffle anybody's feathers. It hasn't seemed to have ruffled anybody's feathers so far. Whatever it is, he's got to do what he's got to do. So,
And I don't know if we want to do this now, but I want to talk about it for a second. This comparison between Biden and Trump. I've heard it. This is the first time in a long time we don't have viable candidates on each side. They're both the same. That's crap. Okay. It really is. The amount of garbage that Trump has created simply by ramming through 3 conservative court justices, that might have been his biggest detrimental thing that's going to take decades to change.
Yeah, you're right.
Biden, some of the things that he was trying to get through, like Build Back Better, didn't work because the Republicans didn't cooperate, and he had a couple of guys in the Senate that wouldn't do it.
Republicans.
Yeah, basically. So we have Build Back Better. We had he worked with the unions in regards to the rail strike, which is a minor. People think it's a minor thing. To me, it's not. He was only criticized for not allowing the strike, but he did a great deal to help those guys and actually got them benefits that they didn't
And the
have
rail
prior.
workers said that. Okay. He was able to pass the infrastructure plan. He protected women's rights the best that he could protect their rights. He protected LGBT rights the best he could protect LGBT rights, with a Senate, with a House that was overturning every single right they had. We can't do justice to Joe Biden if we tack this on at the end of a show. If we're going to do it, we're going to have to compare it in a show and do it the right way. You want to see what Joe Biden has done? Go look it up on the White House website. They're not lying, okay?
They're not.
It's ridiculous. I'm tired of talking about it. I
know.
Talking about it.
We've talked about it so many times, and we're going to have to continue to do it. Yep. I know it's at the end of the show, but
yeah, we'll do a separate show.
Yeah, but and by the way, I don't wish harm on any person, but I do wish this orange piece of shit was in jail. I do. I don't care. Listen, let Trump deal with whatever medical issue he has with his hands. I don't care about that. Isn't he bad enough without worrying about what he looks like?
You know what? I don't give a shit whether he's syphilis or not. That wouldn't surprise me. The guy's a fucking pig, but that's neither here nor there.
It's not.
The fact of the matter is, that's not a deal breaker. That ain't going to keep him off the ballot, and it ain't going to cause him to resign because he's not to get out of the race because he's not going to do that. We have one choice here. It's on us and you, the voters. It's just as simple as that.
There was I didn't put it. I actually had it in the sources, but I took it out because it kept on running in my ear. The YouTube video from that judge in the E. Jean Carroll trial. He's saying Donald Trump cannot win. He cannot win. He consistently and constantly violates the rule of law.
Yep.
He will not listen to anyone
Yep.
other than himself because it's all about him. He is a dictator. The only thing that he gives a crap about is loyalty to him. If you kiss his ring, you're good. You get his endorsement. He doesn't care what you do. He doesn't care how you treat people. Oh, that's just locker room talk. Okay. He doesn't care.
Yep.
As
And by the way,
Santos,
he's talking
yeah.
about deploying the military and jailing people. Believe him when he talks, because generally speaking, he does it.
Oh,
So,
and by the way, let's not sugarcoat it either. Eliminating political rivals. He can do it when he's president.
yeah,
Do you understand what he's saying? We're going back to freaking um Russia, fascist Russia, when they executed their critics. You listen to the man and what he's going to do. Listen to these people.
and by the way, if you're doubting that he's going to do what he's going to do you forget January 6, 2021? Is that what's happening here? Stop it, all right, people? Look it. You know what? There's one avenue to keep this man out of office right now. It's on you. We are the deciders of whether we select fascism or democracy. It's as simple as that. This is ridiculous that people can't see this for what it is.
And this is top down, by the way. Why, Dave, why are you always talking about Trump? Because he is the head of the snake. I will continue to say it.
Yep.
Once he's gone, now you got to clean up all the garbage that he left behind.
Correct.
And any one of these assholes could potentially become the next dictator.
That's right.
Do you think, you saw DeSantis? He
So
kissed he kissed
he's
Trump's
all
ring
lined
the
up. He's
instant he
all lined
dropped
up for
out.
2028. He's all lined up for 2028. He's ready.
Right,
I'm
right.
just telling you.
If Donald Trump doesn't get elected and just stays in office forever.
Yep.
Just understand where we're at. This is scary.
This is game, set, and match.
This is game, set, and match. And I know people are like, oh God, we're hearing it again. No, no, no. It really is different.
No, if
It
you know
really
what,
is.
I'm going to
By
tell
the
you.
way, again, you don't want to listen to Democrats. You don't want to listen to us. Listen to the Bulwark. Listen to the Lincoln Project. Listen to Jennifer Rubin, who says this is a different, and I had the source in there. I didn't really talk about it, but this is a different election. You have a regular Democratic candidate running against a fascist
You do.
GOP candidate. She states it point blank.
All right,
So
gang. We'll see you next Sunday. And maybe before that. Bye.